Hey guys, it's Ami Amour. Today I'm going to show you how to crochet the Squid Game characters. In my previous tutorial, I showed you how to crochet the pink soldier, and actually their bodies are from the same pattern, but both their heads are different. Here is player 456 in his green tracksuit. His name is also known as Ki-hoon. And here is player 67. Her name is also known as Sebyok in Korean. Alright, what are we waiting for? Let's get started. Here are the materials you'll need. You'll need a 4.0mm crochet hook. You'll need worsted weight acrylic yarn. I use Red Heart with Love in the color Jadette. I use the colors white. I also use Aran color yarn as well as black yarn. You'll also need cotton crochet thread in size 3. For the head with Aran colored yarn, you're going to make a slip knot and then chain 2. That is 1 and 2, and you're going to do 6 single crochet stitch. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And if your chain opens, you can just close it tight. And we'll use a stitch marker to mark the end of our round. I just use a bobby pin. And now for round 2, it's going to be 2 in each stitch all the way around, and you'll have 12 single crochet stitch at the end. So in our first stitch right here, it is going to be 1 and into the same stitch, that's 2, and then 1 and 2, and continue to repeat the pattern all the way around. Round 3, our pattern is 2, 1, 2, 1. Continue to repeat around, and you'll have 18 single crochet stitches. So that's going to be 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and then just 1. Repeat again. It's going to be 1 and 2, and then just 1 into the next stitch, and continue to repeat the pattern all the way around, and you should have 18 single crochet stitches at the end. Round 4, our pattern is 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1. Continue to repeat all the way around, and you'll have 24 single crochet stitches. So that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 1. Repeat again. It's going to be 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and then 1 and 1. And continue to repeat all the way around. For rounds 5 through 8, we are just going to do 1 in each stitch all the way around. So we're just going to stay at 24 single crochet stitches. So go ahead and work up your stitches, and I will meet you at the end of round 8. That's how your project should look like. And if we count, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds completed. And now for round 9, our pattern is a decrease, and then in the next 4, just 1, repeat around, and you'll have 20 single crochet stitches. Here's our first decrease. You're gonna have 2 loops, insert hook again, and you'll have 3 loops. Yarn over and go out through all 3 loops. And then it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Repeat the pattern again, do a decrease, and then in the next 4, just 1. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and continue to repeat the pattern all around. Round 10, our pattern is a decrease, and in our next 8, just 1 single crochet stitch, repeat around, and you'll have 18 single crochet stitches. So here is our first decrease, and then it is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Repeat again. It's going to be a decrease, and then it's single crochet in the rest of the stitches around. Round 11, our pattern is going to be a decrease, single crochet, decrease, single crochet, repeat around, and you'll have 12 single crochet stitches. So here is our first decrease, and then just one single crochet. Repeat again, decrease, and then one single crochet. Continue to repeat around. And at the end, you can cut off a long tail and fasten off. And here is our head completed. For the arm, you are going to, with Aran yarn, chain 2, that's 1 and 2, and then 4 single crochet into the first chain, that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then you're going to close it tight and use a stitch marker to mark the end of our round. For round 2, our pattern is 2, 1, 2, 1 around, and you'll have 6 single crochet stitches at the end. So in our very first stitch, it's going to be 1 and 2, and then 1 in our next stitch. Repeat again, it's 1 and 2, and then just 1 in our last stitch right here. Now we should have 6 single crochet stitches. Now we're going to change colors. I'm going to prep my jade color yarn by making a slip knot, and then with my Aran color yarn project, I am going to do a single crochet stitch into the next stitch, but instead of finishing off, I'm going to pick the jade color yarn and finish off the single crochet stitch and move my stitch marker because that's the end of the round now. Now for round 3, the pattern is 2, 1, 1, repeat around, and you'll have 8 single crochet stitches. So that's going to be 1 and 2, and then next stitch is going to be 1 and then 1. And repeat again, it's going to be 1 and 2, and then it's going to be 1 and 1. So now we should have 8 single crochet stitches, and you can cut off the orange color yarn. So now for rounds 4 through 8, we are just going to stay at 8 single crochet stitches. So go ahead and work up your stitches, and I will meet you at the end of round 8. 9, our pattern is a decrease, and then 1, 1, repeat around, and then we'll have 6 single crochet stitches. So here's our decrease, and then 1 and 1. Repeat again, a decrease, and then it's 1 and 1, and now we should have 6 single crochet stitches. Cut a long tail and fasten off, and here is our arm completed, and you want to make 2. For the collar with green or jade color yarn, you are going to chain 15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you are going to do 2 half double crochet in the previous chain. So that is 1 half double crochet, and into the same chain we're going to do 1 more half double crochet stitch, and then we are going to do slip stitch in the next 12. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And in our last chain, we are going to do 2 half double crochet stitch. So that is 1 half double. This is our second half double. And then you're going to do a slip stitch to finish off. Cut a long tail and fasten off. And here is our collar completed. And then later we will want to connect the ends to wrap around the neck to make a collar. For the pant stripe with white yarn, you are going to chain 8. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then you're gonna slip stitch across, and you should have 7 slip stitches. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then you're going to cut off a long tail and fasten off. And here is your pant stripe complete, and you want to make 2. For the arm stripe with white yarn, you are going to chain 5. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then you'll slip stitch back across to have 4 slip stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And cut and fasten off. And here's your arm stripe completed, and you'll want to make 2. Now the pattern for both the player and the soldier are exactly the same except for in different colors. So I'm going to link to the previous crochet tutorial that I've created. This is a picture of how it should look like. So go ahead and follow that pattern and come right back. Once you've created the body in white and green color, we can go ahead and slip stitch on to the middle of the body in the front loop remaining. And then we're just going to slip stitch around so that it gives a nice line for the top. For the guy's hair with black yarn, you are going to chain 2, that's 1 and 2, and then 6 single crochet into the first chain, so that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, and then pull it tight and use a stitch marker to mark the end of the round. You'll ignore this first loop because that doesn't count, and you'll do 2 in each stitch all the way around, and you should have 12 single crochet stitches. So in our first stitch we are going to do 1, and we're going to do our second single crochet stitch, and then it's 1 and 2, and continue to repeat around, and you should have 12 at the end. Round 3, our pattern is 2, 1, 2, 1, repeat around, and you'll have 18 single crochet stitches at the end. So that is going to be 1 and 2 into the same stitch, and then 1. Repeat the pattern again. It's 1 and 2 and 1. Continue to repeat around. Round 4, our pattern is 2, 1, 1, 2, 1, 1, repeat around, and you'll have 24 single crochet stitches. So that's 1 and 2 and 1 and 1. Repeat again. It's 1 and 2 and 1 and 1, and continue to repeat the pattern all the way around. For rounds 5 and 6, we're just going to stay at 24 single crochet stitches, so it's just 1 in each stitch all the way around. So go ahead and work up your stitches. Now for round 7 and 8, we're just going to work in the back loop only before we went through both loops. And this is the front loop right here. And then this is the back loop. So we just only want to go through the back loop, which is the one that's furthest away. So we're just going to do a single crochet into the back loop only. So we're staying at 24, and it's just 1 in each stitch all the way around. So go ahead and work up your stitches. After round 8, here's how your project should look like so far. For round 9, we're going to do a slip stitch and then chain 8. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we're going to slip stitch back 7 chains. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Then we're going to slip stitch into the next stitch and chain 10. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're going to slip stitch back across 9. So that's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, and slip stitch into our next stitch. And then we'll chain 12. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12. And you'll slip stitch back 11 chain. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and you'll slip stitch into the next stitch, and then you'll chain 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and then you'll slip stitch back the next 11 chain. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11. Do a slip stitch in the next stitch. And then we are going to slip stitch in our next stitch and chain 5. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch back 4 chain. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. Then slip stitch in our next stitch, chain 5, and then you're going to slip stitch back across, which is going to be 4 again, and then slip stitch into our next stitch, chain 5 again, and then you're going to slip stitch back across so that you will have 4 slip stitches, and then you're going to do a slip stitch into our next stitch, and this is how your hair should look like so far. Now for the rest of the round, you're going to chain 1 and then do a slip stitch. Repeat again, chain 1 and do a slip stitch, and you're going to continue this all the way until the end of the round. And here is our last chain 1 and slip stitch into the very last stitch in this round. This is how your project should look like so far. So now I want to move back to where the front loops are. So I'm going to do into the previous round where the front loop remains. I'm going to do a slip stitch. And then I'm going to jump one more round back where the front loop is remaining and do another slip stitch. Now I'm ready to do my next round, but I'm going to go around this round at the top right here. For round 10, I'm going to chain 2, that's 1 and 2, and do a slip stitch into the previous chain. Now I'm going to slip stitch into the next stitch, and then I'm going to repeat that pattern 8 more times. So chain 2, slip stitch back, slip stitch into the next stitch, repeat again, chain 2, slip stitch back, slip stitch into the next stitch, and continue to do that until you have 8 of those repeated. And at the end, you can cut off a long tail and fasten off. And here's how your guy hair should look like. That's the side bangs right there. Now this is how you can put on the hair. You can put it on top of the head, and then you'll want to make the side bangs go downward. So here is the front, and that's the back, and I will show you how we can sew this on. For the female hair, rounds 1 through 8 is exactly the same as the hair for the male, so go ahead and repeat that pattern. Round 9, you'll do a slip stitch in the next stitch, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then slip stitch 4 chain back. So that's 1, 2, 3, and 4. So you want to have 6 of these in total. You're going to do a slip stitch again, chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, slip stitch back 4. That's 1, 2, 3, and 4, and continue repeating. Do a slip stitch. Now you have 2 of them, you want 4 more, so go ahead and repeat the pattern. Now we should have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bangs all together. Now we're going to do slip stitch in the next 17 stitches. So go ahead and work up your stitches. And now at the end of the round, we're ready to go to the previous rounds where we have the front loops remaining, and we're going to do a surface stitch. So you're going to go back one round and do a slip stitch. And then you're going to go back across one more round where there's another front loop remaining and do another slip stitch. And now we're ready to work in our next round. For round 10, you'll chain 15. That is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Slip stitch back 14. That's 1 and 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 and 14, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. And you're going to repeat the same pattern one more time. So go ahead and chain 15. And then you're going to slip stitch back 14. So go ahead and do your slip stitches, and then at the end you should have 2 strands of 14 slip stitches. Then we're going to do a slip stitch, and then you'll want to chain 18, and then you'll want to slip stitch back 17. So go ahead and work up your stitches. And at the end, you'll do a slip stitch in the next stitch. And so we have our first strand of our 17 slip stitch. You'll want to repeat this 3 more times so that you have 3 strands in total of the 17 slip stitches. So go ahead and work up your stitches. So far we have 2 strands of 14 slip stitch and 4 strands of 17 slip stitches. Now you'll chain 15. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And then you're going to slip stitch 14, chain back. So go ahead and work up your stitches. And at the end, you're going to do a slip stitch and repeat the pattern again. You will chain 15 and then do 14 slip stitch back. This is how it looks like so far. And then you'll chain 9. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then you'll slip stitch back 8. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And you'll slip stitch in our next stitch. And then go ahead and repeat the pattern one more time of chain 9 and then do 8 slip stitch back. So now we should have 2 strands of 14 slip stitch, 4 strands of 17 slip stitch, 2 strands of 14 slip stitch, and 2 strands of 8 slip stitch. So now you do slip stitch in the next 10 stitch. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then you're going to chain 9. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you'll slip stitch back 8 chain. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then you'll slip stitch into the next stitch and repeat the pattern of chain 9. And then you will do 8 slip stitches back. And then you'll do a slip stitch, and then you'll go ahead and cut off a long tail and fasten off. And here is our hair for the female completed. Now to style the hair, you're gonna grab the first 8 long strands and pull them back. And then this front part will become the bangs for the hair. So if we place our head into our hair, you can see that the previous layer becomes her front bangs, and then the other strands become the hair strands on the back side. And then what we'll want to do is go ahead and sew it on. And here is our finished amigurumi. Hope you enjoyed watching this tutorial. Be sure to like and subscribe so you catch all my latest tutorials. Bye for now.